I can see Timothy. I can see Siaka. I can see Raymond. So we are all welcome to today's session. Mr. Chinedu, I can see your slides are coming up. Okay, we can see it now. So good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening, Nabi. Good evening.
Hi.
Yeah, I can hear you. Good evening, Nabi.
Hi, good evening. You're welcome. So Chinedu, I think we have to start if you say we should. We have 12 attendants here.
Okay.
Okay, we can see Mr. Chinedu as well. So Mr. Chinedu, good evening, welcome. We have 12 persons here. So let me say good evening, everybody. You're all welcome to today's session. We are going to start immediately since Mr. Chinedu is the one that is going to give us the training on budget preparation for facility management operations. I would like some of us that are still, if you can, please go on the platform and drop a message there that we are live so that people can join. Chinedu, I'm not going to waste time. We all know you already. So you're going to do your introduction. Introduce yourself for those of us that are joining for the first time. So you introduce yourself and then you continue with the training. But before we start, make sure you have your writing materials with you, your pen and your notebook, your jotter, so that you can write down things that you will ask Mr. Chinedu. This is an interesting topic or aspect of a facility management profession. We that are facility managers, we must have faced issues or challenges in preparing our budget. Some of us might not know what CAPEX means. Some of us might not know what OPEX means. So Chinedu is going to throw more light on it and then tell us where they are needed and when we are supposed to prepare them. So tell your friends, anybody that you must have shared the link with, tell them to join. And then Mr. Chinedu, I'm going to leave the floor now for you. Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. I'm sure you are seeing the slides. Confirm you can see the slides.
Yes. Yes, sir. We can see it, sir.
All right. Thank you. I don't know if anybody can also help me be on the watch out to admit people, because I might not be able to do that while I'm taking the training. Can anybody see those joining? Will you help me so that you can also help me to admit them, please? I'm sure I'm not the only one that should be seeing. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm on it.
All right. Thank you. So help me do that. All right. So we'll just quickly go to what we have for today. No need for introduction. I've done my introduction in the past. I've not changed. So we'll just go straight to what we have for today, because based on, if you can remember, the FM competencies that Engineer is actually helping us to treat. So the issue of finance and budget actually came up, and I volunteered to take us on this, on the aspect of FM budgeting. Also, it's good to let us know that I am not an accountant. I'm not an accountant. I might not be able to speak the accounting language effectively, but I have a basic understanding of accounting, particularly when it comes to FM budgets. And of course, I've done my FMP, which also budgeting and finance is part of it. And more also is something I've been doing for over 15 years, so I can be able to share knowledge. I can be able to guide you effectively in preparing the budget. So let's be prepared. It's going to be more like a practical section. But before we get there, I will give us highlights, to form the basics for whatever we're doing, so we can be able to, refresh our mind, be able to look at, the terms and things around the budget, so that we can all be ready when we get to the practical session. Yeah, so the key or the aim of this training or the section we're having tonight to be able to expose us to understand what FM budget is and the key types of FM budgets. Then at the end of this training, I also expect that we should be able to understand the importance of FM budgets or budgeting. So that you don't begin to see it as something that is casual. It's important or it's very important. No, it's very, very important. And to be able to understand the requirements for FM budget preparation, because every one of us here, if you're not preparing budgets now, it is basic that in a couple of months, in a couple of years from now, you'll be faced with preparation of budget. You will not just prepare budget, you will also be expected to, present it. Your management will sit down and face you and say, why should we spend this money? And you should be able to defend it and be able to convince the management why that should happen. So it's very important to understand the key requirements for preparing the FM budget and also to learn how to prepare the budget. The slides are very few so that we can have time to look at the practical aspect of it. Now, definition, I said facility management budgeting is the process. You plan, you estimate, you allocate, plan. Oh, I'm going to be doing FM for this year. I'm going to be, maintaining a duplex. I'm going to be maintaining 7-story, office complex. I'm going to be maintaining 10-story. What does it take me to do? What will be the financial implication for an entire year of a particular period, month, or thereabout? So you'll be able to now estimate, you'll be able to allocate, and you'll be able to manage the financial resources for the operation, maintenance, and improvement of facility over a specific period. One thing I can tell you from experience is that the budget will keep on going smaller or growing smaller or getting lower or getting whatever, I don't know whichever term I want to use, but it will keep on shrinking as each year goes by. In my many years of experience, there is hardly a year that you will present, maybe you present 2 million, 200 million, 100 million budget, and they'll clap and say, that's good, go ahead with it. No, it can never happen. It has not happened before. For whatever 100 million, it was, no, we are doing 50 million. We can't do 100 million. You will be surprised. You say, but we did 70 million last year. And, and we all know what the economic reality is. So we should be doing 120 million. They said, no, we too, the company, whatever, the organization is also trying to save money. So we can't do 50 million that we did last year. And the scope of work has not changed, though. Unfortunately, it's going to be on the same scope of work. And the 50 million you got last year, you'll be getting 45 million this year, you'll be getting 40 million this year. And still nobody expects to get any complaint. Nobody expects to get reduction in terms of quality or service delivery. So it's now left for you to plan, left for you to allocate funds, left for you to now, prioritize to ensure that your facility is up and running. Now, oh, sorry, this is not supposed to be training concept, forgive me. It's going to be types of, I will change it, types of FM budgets. So there are two critical types of FM budgets, operating budget, operating expense, no matter what you call it, and capital budget or capital expense. Then operating budget, operating expense are the same thing as what we call OPEX. Obi mentioned it before we started. So when you hear OPEX, let your heart not be troubled. The term is all about, operating expenses, operating budget. So what does it cover? What is it all about? It covers daily and recurring operational expenses. For instance, you pay utility bill every month. For instance, you pay for water, you pay for waste evacuation, you pay for security services, you have a contract with a security company, and you need to pay them every month. So it's a recurring expenses. It's happening every month. It's happening regularly. So it comes as operational cost. It comes as OPEX. Then consumables you buy, whether you buy bulbs, whether you buy cleaning consumables, these are monthly bi-monthly, quarterly reoccurrence. So it's part of the annual maintenance plan. And also maybe if you are doing FM service delivery, you are on the outsourced FM kind of model. It means that, you know, those things are part of the contract, part of the scope that you expected to be executing within that specified period of time, monthly, quarterly, or thereabout. So it's reoccurring. Let me call it reoccurring expenses or recurring expenditure. So it comes under operating budget or operating expenses, whichever term they are the same thing. It's short term. Like I said, it can be monthly, it can be quarterly, it can be annually. That is another type of budget that we're exposed to when it comes to facility management is CapEx budget or capital budget. So I'm going to call it capital expenditure or capital expenses or capital budget, and that's the same thing we hear when we hear people talk about CapEx. So I think it's unlike the operational expenses. This is a long-term investment and major upgrades. It doesn't happen all the time. It's to achieve strategic objectives, maybe branding. There is a facelift. The organization is actually looking at, want to remodel, want to move to a new apartment, want to do something, it's going to be a major expense. So it's not like the 1 million, 2 million, or 3 million, or 300,000, 100,000 that will do monthly. So it will be planned. Like I said, if some instances or examples are put here, roof replacement. Maybe you are in a complex that, the square meter covers up to hundreds or thousands of square meter, and you're going to be changing the entire rooftop. You won't wake up early in the morning and start changing it. You want to do renovations. You want to buy you want to develop new structures for the organization. You want to purchase a large equipment or, those working equipment or tools, key ones, and you're going to be doing them. They are not operational. Yeah, they support your operation, but they don't form, part of the operating cost, because it's, in most cases, the cost is very, very huge, or the costs are very, very huge, and it's projected for maybe, by the time we carry out this expenditure, it's going to be able to, at least for the next 5 years, it's going to be able to take us for the next 10 years. They are strategic. They are long-term expenses. So it doesn't just happen. At the most instances, this can be generated through a facility condition assessment. When you look at yourself, and that's why it's very important. In some instances, you do it quarterly. In some instances, you do. I'm sure the doctor that took us to that time when he was doing FCA also mentioned that. So when you do that FCA, you're able to, observe, those key and major requirements for your facility, and you can be able to now categorize it under capital expenditure. And let me tell you something. Before this can be approved, the management or the executives must see how it translates to this operational expense. So the key aim of doing capital expenditure in most cases is to be able to reduce operational expenses. So what happens is that if you say, the generator we're having now is, the monthly consumption in terms of diesel maintenance and everything is 100,000. By the time we buy a new generator, it means that our maintenance cost will come down to 500 naira, or to come, if it's from 100,000, it's going to come to 50,000. So in the next 5 years, in the next 2 years, this 100 million we're going to be spending, we should be able to cut down the operational cost so that money can be recovered. That is the only way capital expenditure in most cases can be considered. And it is an error when you embark on capital expenditure and the operational expenses is still very high. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be what we call in mathematics, it's supposed to be inversely proportional. What I mean inversely proportional is, as this one goes high, this one comes up. So there's supposed to be a direct relationship between your OPEX in terms of O. And that's why when your OPEX is going up, means that, the cost of maintenance is going up, means that some things, are beginning to get to their end of life. So it means that, they're actually calling attention for replacement. So capital expenditure should have a direct impact, a direct reduction on your routine or operational expenditures. So I said it's long term, and it's something, it doesn't happen all the year. It happens, once, maybe 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, depend on your plan. Now, importance of FM budgeting. Now, they said enhances planning for sustainability and life cycle cost savings, just like what I was trying to say. So your budgeting should be able to, for those that are doing what's it called, estate management, that has to do with tenancy, that has to do with there's this, they call it again. So where you are expected to recoup the cost. I've forgotten what they call it now. Maybe for the investment. Okay, that's a return on investment. Where you're calculating return on investment, your budget should be able to guide you to say, for 5 years, this is what we're going to spend. And this, if we spend so amount of money, we should be able to recover so amount in value. That's vis-a-vis the income, vis-a-vis the rentage, vis-a-vis the revenue that is being generated from that property. So you can be able to say, the life cost, so for the next 10 years, for the next 5 years, we'll be able to recoup this amount, and we should be able to make these savings. We should have been able to recover, or the return on investment for so particular asset, for so particular investment is at so percentage. If you don't have budget, when it comes to that expenses, it might be difficult. And some instances too, when you want to take over a property, or when you want to do as a new FM, or you're taking over an FM of a particular complex, of a particular office building, or whatever it is newly, your budget should be able to tell, okay, let me assume you're from the FM service company where it is outsourced to your company. You should be able to do a budget. If that contract is for 1 year, if that contract is for 2 years, if that contract is for 3 years, you should be able to now tell your company, this is our expenses, monthly expenses, annual expenses on these, compared to the amount of money that we are being paid for maintenance of this particular system. So if you look at it, our profit margin will be at a certain level. And of course, that can be able to guide some strategic decisions. So if you're going to be spending, let me assume, overall expenses on a particular budget, on a particular project is, let me say, 900 million. And the owner is offering you, or for that contract, you're being offered 850,000. Nobody will accept that kind of contract, because it means at the end of the day, you're going to be running into deficit. At the end of the day, there won't be profit. At the end of the day, the organization won't be making any headway in terms of, because every business actually is aimed at making profit. Now, ensure operational expenditure or efficiency without overspending. Yes, you have planned what you need to do. And if this money is available, I'll be able to service my generator at when due. I'll be able to service my ACs as when due. I'll be able to service my extinguishers. I'll be able to do all the operation. I'll be able to pay my, of course, when we're going to be looking at the practical section, you also be seeing that, of course, the salaries, the welfares are supposed to be part of it. So all this, so if those things are planned, are captured within your budget, so you now know that that money that will be allocated to your unit, you now know, I'll be able to pay my salaries as at when due. I'll be able to do whatever I'm supposed to do as at when due. So at the end of the day, you can be sure that my services, or my, what is it called, my facility, or whatever, what's it called, facility generally is, you have all it takes in terms of the financial support to be able to run it efficiently. So, but you don't have the budget. What happens in this particular instance is that all of a sudden something can happen. And of course, we individuals, even when you collect monthly salary, even if you're a husband or you're a wife, there are times when the cash flow is not there. It's not that you were not having money yesterday. It's not that you're not expecting money tomorrow, but at now the cash is not there. So if there are no proper plans to be able to capture all the necessary expenses within that particular period, what happens? You wake up this morning and the budget is the generators are broken down, and you now come to your manager. This generator needs 200 million for repairs, or we need to rent, they will tell you where is the money going to come from. Before you do back and forth, before this one, the other one, what happens? There will be a downtime. The facility, the users and every of them will complain. But if that had been captured in the budget, what happens? It's there, the fund is there, the fund has been, even if it's not there, but it would have been budgeted for, it would have been planned for, and your management would have also made provision necessary for it so that as and when required, they'll be able to make the money available. Yes. So it helps also to prioritize critical maintenance or capital investment. What happens is that if your budget, let me say in a month is 100 million or 50 million, that is what you know that is approved for you in a month. Then you should be able to look at your expenses for that month and say, which ones are critical for me? Which ones should I carry to next month? Of course, salaries is a no-go area you must be. You know, my generator are due for this month. Okay, can I be able to plan them effectively for next month? Okay, we are supposed to go on a what's it called, on a picnic as an organization, or what we call a team bonding for this month. Should I be able to do team bonding with this? No, team bonding can actually move. Yeah. We can move team bonding. We'll pay salaries. We'll do our PPM so that there is no breakdown. We are supposed to buy AC for this year. In fact, it's actually allocated. We're supposed to buy 20, but we won't be able to buy that since at least the ACs are at least performing at the optimal level to maybe 60, 70%. Okay, no. Let's leave it. We can buy this. So you can be able to prioritize. Because you have a budget, because you have an approval of a particular amount, you can be able to say, oh, I will do this now. I can be able to plan this for next. So those are advantages. So you wouldn't just be having an unnecessary headache because you have already prioritized. You know those things that are critical to you. You know those ones that are not critical. Those ones that will say, well, maybe they're important, they are not urgent. You know that those categories. Yeah, so that's that. So it can help you to prioritize. So justifies spendings to senior management and stakeholders. It's in the budget, it has been approved. You know, there are sometimes, even in our own organization, you want to do some expenses. What's it called? Audit will tell you, where is it? Show us where is it in your budget. You just look at it now. Before at the end of the year, I already captured it and it has been approved. Everybody's mouth is short. But when those things come up and you say, they will say, show us where this thing is in the budget. And you say, no, it doesn't happen. Who will look at it? Management, nobody will look at it. Nobody will look at it. Even if it becomes critical and is now on the neck of the management or to be able to resolve that, what happens? It becomes a minus for you as a firm. It means you didn't plan well. It means that you didn't budget well. And what happens? Your own FM will now be the FM that everybody will now be looking at. Are you sure this guy knows what he's doing? Now, it also supports decision making, compliance with financial policies. Yeah, it supports, so you will not know that the decisions, we are taking these decisions, we are not taking these decisions, we are doing this one. And one thing I want you to understand that is critical is that no matter how the organization like you, they might not want to compromise their profit margin. They might not want to compromise their profit margin. The profit is already stated, the profit is already planned, maybe the shareholders and everybody knows that at the end of the year, if we're able to plan. In fact, if anything is expected from you as a facility manager, you should be able to save from the budget. The budget that you said is not enough, yet there will be that expectation that you should save from it. By the time you're given 50,000, there was something that happened the other day. So a colleague of mine, there was something we needed to do. I told him the budget is about 200,000. So when he sent his request, he sent request of 199.9 or something. I said, must you finish? Is it because I told you 200? So you want to ensure that you finish this 200,000. So what happens is that, so for FNs, when you are given that, what happens? So it helps you to, make decisions. It helps you to be able to, say, okay, I'm doing this. You get the necessary support from anybody you need to get support from before. Getting approval won't be an issue because it is already budgeted for. Please, are we sit together?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank
Yes,
you.
yeah, we are together.
All right. I'm happy we're still together. Yeah. So yes. So going forward, we're now looking at points to note when you want to prepare your budget. When you're talking, because the year is coming to an end. Before you know what is happening, budget planning, budget preparation will start all over, because most of the times, although in rare cases it's not like that, most organization, budget cycle is from January to December. Although you have some that maybe middle of the month or thereabout, but in most cases, usually January to December. So these are points to note when you're planning your budget. Of course, you must understand the use of Excel. So if you don't know the use of Excel, it will be difficult. It's only minor budgets that you can do on Microsoft Word, and of course, that might not be presentable, that might not be advisable, that might not be what is expected of you as an FM. So for you to now go into budgeting and do it effectively, because it will give you accurate calculation of figures. You don't need to now start carrying calculator and the person. So you must understand the use of your Excel. So if you don't know how to use the Excel document, please, it's very, very important for you. It's one of the bases for you to be able to plan for you to be able to, do your budget effectively. Then understand contract strategic expectations to ensure you don't miss any major contract item, or whether contract item when you're on the outsourced end, and when you're an in-house FM, so that you also don't miss anything that is critical for the strategy of the organization for that year. So what's the meaning is that if the organization is rebranding, which will require, your repainting, which will require maybe some change of the change of logo, which will require some change of furnitures, which will require maybe improved marketing or something, for the year. You should be able to understand that and be able to itemize them and note them carefully, so that it is not the time when the managing director or whoever or the chief executive is now asking, why are the logos still the old logo? We are supposed to have changed this by now. You now get your budget to see that, I omitted it in my budget for the year. That will be a complete disaster. Or maybe you signed a contract with an FM with an organization or a service, what's it called now? A customer or demand organization, and part of the scope is that you are supposed to repaint 2 times in a day. That's the contract your organization signed, or you're supposed to replace 10 of the ACs that year, or part of that scope says there should be a quarterly fumigation, or part of that scope says there should be deep cleaning once in a month, and in your budget they are not there. What do you think will happen? So both your own management, the people you sign contract to, of course, the people you sign contract with, that the demand of they don't mind you now. So that's your cup of tea. Look at the contract you signed; it's there, it's stated clearly, and your organization will be asking you, why is it not there? Why did you miss this out? And I'm sure you won't be happy with yourself, because the level of question and what you'll be facing will not be funny at all. Then understand that budget is tied. That's supposed to be not tied. It's supposed to be tied, TIED. So to profit of the organization for both in-house and outsourced FM. So that the meaning is that the higher you blow your budget, the less the profit margin for the organization. So, and like I said before, every organization will be proud to declare a high profit at the end of the year. They were happy to say, we made 10% last year. This year we have made 20%. Of course, these shareholders will be happy. And if your organization and this, what's it called, the stock exchange market, what happens? You will have more people subscribing to your stock, because your profit margin, the dividends increase every year. So by the time you allow your budget to be out of control, or you're giving 500 million, you're spending 700 million, it means that 200 million has gone into the profit. It means that that 200 million has gone into the other things that management would have done in the course of that year. And possibly your MD wanted to take, or maybe had already planned to take a trip abroad, and it's supposed to be 100 million. All of a sudden, you're bringing extra cost of 200 million, which means possibly he will now be cutting his trip abroad this year, or he will even be missing it, or he will not be going because the money that he was supposed to use to go, or he would have budgeted the money that would have sponsored his or her trip abroad is already spent. You think the person will be happy with you because you are denying him that vacation this year. He won't be happy with you. So that's why you need to understand that. But you're budgeting your expenses, whatever you are spending is tied to the organization's profit. So when they say cut your budget, please reduce this cost. You should be able to understand that what they are saying is that we want our profit this year to increase. And of course, when the profits are not increasing, it will be difficult to review salaries. It will be difficult to review benefits, because it's when the profits are going higher, when the profit margins keeps going up, or they can see that the profit is on green. Yeah, that's when you can say we want you to increase 10%, and also give us the total cost, because they know that there's something left behind. So don't always be the FM that you want to finish up everything and be asking for more. Like Oliver Twist that we know. Ask for more. Don't ask for more when it comes to budgeting, when it comes to money allocation. And of course, if we have practiced FM for long, you always know that facility managers are never in good terms with auditors and the account unit, because anytime they see this, they will frown their face, because they know that this man has come to collect money again. So you must be able to make them also realize that yes, you are not just spending the money, you're also adding values, you're also saving costs, you're also part of those that are also ensuring that the profit margin of the organization goes high. I also say, okay, ensure you operate within cost provided. As much as possible, try to stay within the amount that is approved, as much as possible. Yeah, some unforeseen circumstance somebody might ask can happen. Yes, it can happen. Then you now know that you have to now do a business case. Business case is that, management, if we don't do this, it will affect our brand, it will affect our product, it will affect this, and it's going to be on a negative impact to the organization. And when you do such justification, they will look at it and it makes sense to them, they will approve it. But it's not something that should happen every time. So stay within your budget. I think also let your budget also as much as possible be flexible. Flexible in the sense that you can it's flexible, that you can actually come once in a while, review this, and you can be able to still accommodate 1,000 naira. Sometimes when you tell management, this was actually omitted last year, I need to when I was presenting my budget, I need to go back and add it. They will say, well, so long as your total sum can still carry it, but nobody's giving you extra money. So if your budget is flexible, you can quickly, where you allocated 500 naira, you can quickly allocate 450 naira, you can quickly allocate 480 naira. You can, work within that approved amount and still be able to accommodate whatever you missed out. But if your budget is, skin to skin, that is now difficult for you to be able to accommodate anything. Anything that happens at the end of the year or within the year that is already planned, that was not planned, might become a disaster for you as a facility manager. And you know what it means when you say there's no money to do this and you need to manage it. We had an instance here in Nigeria the other time ago that a lift killed, is it a copper or a medical doctor? I've forgotten which one now, but at least the lift dropped and killed. Is it a medical doctor or a copper? I cannot remember. That's someone that's serving. That's in the National Youth Service program. I've forgotten exactly. But what happened, because they said there are series of deferred maintenance. This was supposed to have been done. No, it was not done. We say, no money now, push it forward. This was supposed to be done. No money now, push it forward. And the thing now deteriorated badly. So if your budget are not flexible, where you can be able to factor one or two things that you didn't originally plan for that is now becoming necessary, what happens when those things, so you will be forced to say, let's leave it till next year when there is money. And you know the FM work that we do now. God help you, a major disaster happens, and it's because you didn't provide money. Yes. So the next we'll be looking at, I will be happy to also take some questions, or if there's any clarity that is needed, they'll be able to put us through an instance or a practical section, like I said. Are there questions I have at this point? Does anybody want to ask anything before we move forward? Should we move? Yeah, I know there's provision for question and answer, but if you still want to ask anything based on what I've said, fine. If you don't want, we'll move forward to the practical section of it. Feedback, should I move on?
Move on, sir.
All right.
Yeah, yes, please, move on. Fine.
I'm seeing a hand.
Or someone is raising.
Yeah.
Someone raised his hand.
Can we take his question, please?
Okay, Mr. Okay. The person that raised his hand can talk. You can unmute yourself.
Temiladi. Temiladi, can you unmute? I think I can't hear you. It's like you're speaking, but I can't hear. I don't know if anyone can hear him or her, rather.
No, sir.
So unfortunately, we can't hear you. Adeyinka, can we take your question? Then we'll move forward.
Mr. Chinedu, go ahead.
Okay, there's
Mr.
another
Chinedu,
hand.
go ahead.
Okay.
We'll ask questions at the end.
All right, thank you. All right, so let's do that at the end. Okay. All right, thank you. All right. So look at what I've put here. Can you see my screen? Can you see what I've put here?
Actually, it's not too bright. I can say, but it's not bright. It's kind of tiny.
You can zoom in. Yeah, you can zoom in. It's okay.
All right, sorry for the interruption. So are you seeing it at all?
Yes, we can. Yes, we
sir.
can see it. We can see it.
Okay, so what I actually want to do is, it might not be clear what is there might not be clear, but at least I want to give you the basic, based on what I've said, at least the basic, concept, the idea, on how to be able to do it, so that on your own, if you're not doing it, you can be able to begin to, do your budget. So I just want to give you what it takes, the practical aspect of it, so that when you get back, or so you can. That's why I say it's important we take note. Now, in this particular lesson here, I said the operating cost. Let me assume for your facility, you are given 40 million to operate. Let's assume in a year. Now, you have this 40 million. It's very important. It's very important. One of the critical things you need to do when you're doing your budget is that you must understand what is provided for you, what is approved for you, what you need to work with. You can't do a budget effectively if you don't know whether it's a revenue, whether you're collecting service charge, whether it's based on what's it called, rent, or based on allocation from your office. You must be able to understand what is due, what am I working with, how much am I supposed to spend in a year. Very, very critical. If you don't have it, then you will just be working. I don't know how to put it now. It's just more like you are doing what you don't understand, because it's more like an open budget. You don't know when you are overspending. You don't know when you have gone out of your limit, and so it's very, very important you understand what you are approved, or what is allocated for you for that particular year, for that particular month, or particularly when it comes to operating costs. And in some instance too, if it's going to be a capital cost, it will also be factored. It was okay. for this year, we have capital expenses, we have to do renovation, we have to do this, and all those things together, we're spending, let me say, I'm using 40 million. Now, if it's going to be January to December, let me assume in some instances, you might be taking up that project from April or from May or from whenever. So you can always adjust your date, adjust your months. You might be given, you might be asked to prepare a budget for 3 months. You might be asked to prepare a budget for 1 year. So depending on what, so you can always, your month can always start from anywhere. So not necessarily January, but you must be able to. So the first thing you must be able to do, you must be able to state the months. I have here January, I have February. So let me assume it's the budget cycle of January to December. So you must be able to, create to have January to December, and you have total. Now, what happens is that if I'm given 40 million, the first thing I do is I should go to divide that 40 million by the number of months I'm expected to work with it. So if it's going to be 12 months, like I said, I'm expected to divide this, because I've done this before. If I divide this 40 million by 12, I have 3,333,333 naira point 33 kobo. That will be my monthly cost. So first, at least be able to note that this is your baseline for every month, plus or minus. Although some months, there are some PPMs that happens quarterly, some PPMs happens by annual and other stuff like that. So what happens is that some months it might be higher, some months it might be lower, but plus or minus, you must be able to maintain your level as 3 point something in a month. So if you have this 3 point something on the basis and you're having 5 million in a month, then particularly if it's not 5 million one-off, it's 5 million every month for 2 or 3 months like that, you already know there's problem somewhere. Because at the end of the year, it means that you are likely going to overshoot your budget. So so let me assume this is your inflow. Maybe either it's paid to your account, or there's an allocation that you can be withdrawing from the accounts team, or there is a service charge that the money provided for maintenance is 40 million. So it can be any amount. I'm just using that as an instance. You have been able to know that your inflow, what you expected every month on average, this amount, which is 3.33 1,333 naira 33 kobo. Now, you will now go to, if it's where you have a service contract, you will now go to see what are those scope of activities that are captured in the contract. If it, of course, salary is a key thing, because good part of the money, and that's why it is said that over 40% of budgets goes to salaries or admin expenses, and that's true. From what I've seen here, you see that for this 3.3 million, from this particular point, you already have 1.9 something allocated to salaries, and it's going to be regular, except you're going to drop staff. Maybe at a particular point, you now see that it's as if I'm overspending in staff payment. It's as if I have more staff than necessary. It's as if, well, these 3 persons, 2 people can actually do, and you want to reduce. Fine, but let's assume by standard you have this to pay. So how do I even get this? It might not be necessary to guide you. So let me assume you have 10 people, for instance, and their salaries in a month. And of course, when you talk about the salaries in a month, should be inclusive of the statutory, all the deductions that are going to happen, pension, HMO, which is like medical insurance, the other type of insurance, whether what's it called, workmen compensation, group life insurance, and all the rest of them, has to be captured. The leave allowance has to also be captured, except in instances where they say, don't bother. The accounts team or the HR team, they have their separate budget for all those. So you don't need to. What comes your own is maybe only the gross salary, or what comes your own is, or in some instances, the salary aspect will not even concern you. It's not a problem. It means that it does not have to come to your list. So now I also have provision of PPEs, personal protective equipment. Let me assume it's not even there. And what you have is generator. Somebody can also bring an idea, or let's say generator maintenance. Okay. So let me even assume there is no transportation allowance. Can somebody give me just mention something to me? Can somebody mention something? Let me assume as part of the contract you have, you're supposed to do what again? Let somebody talk. I need so that if we participate, we'll be able to do it better. Okay, now let me say fumigation. Huh? What again?
Janitorial services.
Okay, let me say janitorial. Let me say cleaning consumables. Let me say consumables. Okay, maybe say small tools. I already have it somewhere. All right. So let me assume you need to have already captured. Let me assume you need to service ACs. You need to do floor care. You need to let me also do something so we can also see it. You need to do a repainting, or let me say painting. Let me say repainting or painting works.
Electrical consumables.
Okay, so let me say electrical consumables. So let me say electrical consumables. Okay, so let me assume work tools. I have work tools here. You need to buy work tools. You also need to make provision for maintenance of the work tools. So what again? What are key things that can be on our scope of work for the year? What again? Let me say trainings. Huh? Someone was saying something. Said sewage treatment.
Yes.
SCP maintenance.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So any other item that we can add here? Any other suggestion?
Let's put maybe utility bills. Let's put maybe sewage,
Thank you.
APB, or
So let
all
me
those
say
compliances. Let's
let's even say electricity bill.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right. Let me say electricity bill. All right. So let me take out all this what I have here before. Although I'll also tell you that I'll also tell you how that it has an auto sum. So I'll also let you know how that can happen. So you find out that if you look at this downside, you already have the same amount that we had before, this thing, because no amount is actually being spended, or you have not started spending. So what do I do here? First and foremost, and of course, I want to believe that we all have the basis of Excel. So let me assume, I told us before, if you have the 40 million, you divide it by 12. I know you divide it by 12, the amount it gives you is distributed per month. That's your baseline for each month. And it gives you, of course, is the auto sum of, this, so you can, so your formula here, look at it. So B3 will be from, the beginning, January to M3, which is December. So this amount here will give you the auto sum of, the baseline of your inflow, what is expected to be released to you on every month. So you can do that. So this amount must tally or close to or the same with this amount of operating cost that is provided. At least you know that, yes, you have created your foundation, you have created the framework, you have created you have gotten your foundation right. Now let's begin. So let me assume I am paying salary. Let me see. Somebody can also suggest maybe you have. Let's use simple calculations. Maybe my salary payment, I have operatives and cleaners and security personnel. All the salaries put together from the figures I'm getting. You will not be the one to calculate the figure. The HR should be able to give you the figure so that you know it's accurate. And what they give you on every month basis is, let me say, 1.5 million. if all the staffs remain, you're going to be spending some amount. And of course, it's also advisable, even if somebody is also going to drop here, or somebody is also going to drop along the line, or you also have plans of reducing your staff strength or your technicians or cleaners, it's advisable to maintain this on your budget. Why is it advisable to maintain it is that so that it cannot make your budget to be flexible. So if you now eventually decide to send away one person, you are now, let's assume they are collecting 70,000. It means that what? You have been able to save 70,000 per month that you can now use for another thing. So by the time at the beginning of the year, you now say, oh, because I might likely to use this staff strength, you remove it here. What if after 1 or 2 months, you discover that you are not supposed to have removed that person in the first place? It will not be a problem for you. You will now be thinking of how do I go back and forth. And if it's something that you must maintain at the end of the year, what happens? Your operations will suffer. The level of services you're supposed to get, you will not get, and you now create more headache. So it's a budget. So it's better you create the room, create the money for it. Even if you're not going to use it at the end of the year, create it, let it be covered, so that when they look at it, you can say, yes, I have 5 technicians, I have 3 cleaners. Yes, to put their salaries together is 1.5 million or 1,400,000 or 1,450,000 or 480,000. So I'm making this 1.5 million to be able to cover these things effectively. Everybody will agree with you because they know that's the number on ground. Now, even if we don't, I want to see whether we can be able to take all of them. And if we don't take all of them, but let's say you are maintaining your generator on monthly basis. Let me say you took over that project by January and you ask question. That's why history also, facility condition assessment is also very important. You ask question, when last was this generator maintained? They told you November. And let me assume you're working with 3 months, or let's even if in some cases it's based on number of hours, but let me assume for the purpose of this lesson that you're working with 3 months. So if that generator was maintained last in November, so you have December, you have January, you have February. So the next time you're going to maintain that generator will be in February. So you wouldn't necessarily, because you're coming in January, you put all the costs in January. So from history, let me assume the cost of that generator maintenance is 100,000. 100,000 per quarter. So this 100,000, all things being equal, you have done your calculations well. So it's going to happen every 3 months. So it means after the first time, the next one will be May. It means that after May, the next one will be in August. It means that after August, the next one will be in November. It means that you have catered for the maintenance of your generator for the whole of the year. So and of course, it's better when you're also doing, if the cost of servicing generator now is, let me say 98,000. It is not advisable you put now 98,000. It's advisable you create a markup, or you create a room in case of fluctuations, in case of change in prices. And in fact, if it becomes lower, the better for you. But if it becomes higher, if you didn't create that buffer, it will not be an issue for you at the end of the day. So now let's also that one is taken care of. So you have budgeted that. So let me assume a fumigation, like we all know, in most cases because of the chemicals and whatever it is. So the minimum standard is in some cases 2 months, but ideally 3 months because of the effect of the chemicals. No, this one is exclusive of the rating. So let me assume also, okay, they said before the last FM left, they did the fumigation in December. So it means the next fumigation should come in March. And let me also assume that the cost of fumigation is, let me assume 200,000 per quarter. It means that if I've done this by this, so if I've not done my PPM before, this can actually guide my PPM. But in most cases, it's better you have your PPM ready so that you can now be able to translate those PPMs directly on your budget. so that you now know that your budget is speaking the same language with your PPM, so that you won't be having something on the PPM and you don't have it on the budget. So if you have your PPM ready, you can now be able to, plan them, ensure that everything the way it is on the PPM is actually here. So it means that the next one will be in June. It means that the next other one will be in September. It means that the next other one will be in December. It means that I have been able to cover my, what is it called? I want to do this so that this cost can also be reflected. All right, so it means that I've been able to capture the cost of my fumigation. So in summary, even if I want to do summary, I can be able to pick these figures, the total, which I have on this column of the total. Now we'll go to consumables. Consumables in most cases are monthly, but when it comes to cleaning consumable, let me even assume I'm doing monthly consumable of let's say 120,000. So it's going to be a monthly cost. So it means that I need to, paste it across. So it means that, in a year, my cleaning consumables will be about 1,440,000 with an average expenditure or consumable of 120,000 every. Like I said, it might not be exactly this. Sometimes it might be higher, sometimes it might be lower. But the bottom line is that account had gotten approval that you're spending 1,440,000 in a year. That's what the audit department has. So whatever you are spending, if I finish this money in January, if you finish this money that's supposed to be from January to December, you finish it in September. Maybe your salary will now use eventually to now do the remaining cleaning for the year. Because when you finish, they will tell you your budget is exhausted for cleaning consumer. All right. So it's better in most cases that you actually, have savings instead of spending everything. Okay, let me also assume in AC servicing, let me also look at, based on history, based on, that you can also look at is cost again, based on the amount you already, let me assume, for instance, I don't have any history for that distance. And for this month of February, I'm paying salary, I'm doing generator maintenance, I'm doing consumable. It might not be advisable again to bring AC servicing here. You can also, okay, I have less expenses in January. Okay, let me bring my AC servicing in January so that it doesn't put a huge amount on my monthly cost. So what can now happen is that, let me assume servicing or maintenance of AC, let me say is 70,000. And it's going to be, let me say, quarterly on the basis. It doesn't mean that cannot change depending on your facility. So what I will now do is I come here. A piece is 70,000. All things being equal, it won't change. So it means that for this, I've been able to reflect my quarterly AC servicing for 4 times in a year. So it means that if I have this thing and I do this servicing in January, and the demand organization or the person that is whatever now says, sir, we need you to service generator again in February. You can say, no, my budget is January, the next one I have is April. If I'm going to do it in February or March, it means that I'm not going to do another one in April because you are speaking from your budget. Now, if they say, no, you have to do so, it means even if you're adjusting, it now means that you adjust the other ones too, the number of times in terms of the month you are doing too. And that's why I say it's also important when your budget is also flexible, so that you can now quickly go to budget and change. Okay, instead of April, I'm not doing it in March. Instead of July, I'm not doing it in June. Things like that. Okay, repainting. Let me show it's a capital expenditure, and not, painting is not what you do on monthly basis. Let me assume you're doing your painting mid-year, and it's going to cost you 2 million naira. So I've also captured that. I'm doing painting once in a year. Electrical consumable, let me say, based on the rate, the usage, we'll buy 2 months. Now, what happens is that let me assume I buy consumable 300,000 to serve for all the replacements, and I'm buying bi-monthly. It means that the first one I buy in February, another one I buy in April, another one I buy in June. My next time is going to be in August, and my next one is going to be in so the next one is going to be in October, and next one is going to be no. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Where's it? Okay, electrical consumable. I want to now be doing another thing. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the next one is going to be October. The next one is going to now be, because it's a bi-monthly activity, it's going to now be in December. So I want to quickly do so that we can be able to, let me say the same thing work tools. You don't buy tools every time. You can, let's say, make provision of 2 times in a year. Let me assume I don't have major expenses here, so I can be able to buy, some of these tools. Let me assume I budget 500,000 for tools. Maybe I want to do 2 times in a year. You can now know the peak, at what particular time those things might be required, and you look out for the months that you have less expenditures, so you can be able to factor that in. So I've also factored that in this. So let me assume I'm buying tools 2 times in a year, and SCP maintenance, I'm doing that 3 times in a year. So let me also assume, where do I have less expenses? Let me see here, and it's costing me 100,000. This figures is for our learning, not necessarily what it is. So let me assume quarterly basis, I'm spending this for maintenance of my STP. So if it's quarterly, means that after you are done your budget, it should be able to reflect 4 times in a year. If something is supposed to be a quarterly activity and you're having it 3 times, it means that you have missed it out somewhere. Now, electricity bill, of course, is supposed to be monthly. And let me assume a monthly electricity bill is, let me assume we're high users of because of ACs and everything, and let me assume we're doing 200,000 on utility every month. So let me assume I have it. Forget about the coloring, whether it's yellow or so it's based on what I did before. So you have 2.4. See what this, and of course, is also automation or summation. This amount here is the auto sum of all the outflows, all your expenses from here to here. And that's what gives you this amount. So it means that I've done this, I've finished, I've captured everything that I need to do. And look at the total amount they gave to me, 39 million, or let's say 40 million. And my total expenses for the year from what were agreed based on whether with customer or with resident or something is 28,520,000. Hey, I'm saving money. I still have 11 million plus left. What are you supposed to do? Okay, before we get there, so like I told us to, so this is also a summation. This is the total monthly cost, which is all the monthly expenditure from this salary to this point. That is what we have here. Now, if I want to get to know if I'm overspending or underspending and not the rest of them, you minus it and from the total amount, which is 3 point something that we're supposed to have in a year. If I minus this with this, it will now give me the difference, whether I'm overspending the total amount or not. So you see that this month I have 1 point something left, I have 1 point something left. This month I have 800 and something. This one I have 1 point something. This one, in this particular month, because of the repainting work I'm doing, I am at negative. I'm overspending with 986,000. It's still not a problem. Why is it not a problem? Because I've not overspent my total amount. So I see in all, at the end of the day, plus minus, I still have this left. So if this is what you have left, and you are sure you have captured all your key decisions, then you can now go back and can now say, oh, it's good for us to go and flex, within the year. You can now make provision for team bonding. You can now make provision again for, let me say, you can now make provision again for trainings. You can now make provision again for, maybe let's say, let me also say, what again will staff want to do? Let me say, end of year party. So I have small money left. So in this team bonding, we might want to do 2 times in a year. What would team bonding cost us? Let me say 250,000. So let me assume we're doing team bonding twice in a year. I'm just fixing it anywhere now. So for team bonding, the total here is 500,000. So the training, let me assume you can be, because it's when you have this here in your budget. Let me do 500,000 for training. Is when you have it here that you can confidently go to management at any point of the year and say, sir, I need my team members to go for so training. They will say, where? How will the money come? For what now? This one, the other one. You say, sir, I'd already provided that at the beginning of the year. So now let me assume you already provided 1 million for training. So let me assume end of the year party that is going to happen sometime in December. Let me assume you provide 2 million. Okay, so with all this I've done, it means that my money still remains. I still have 7 point something. So if you choose to, you can declare. If you are sure you have captured everything that need to be captured, you can declare to manager, this is my budget, but I still have the savings. However, I am leaving this in case anything is cropping up, in case any maintenance or any major thing can come up. Or when you have this, you can now introduce a capital expenditure. You can now say, oh, our unit is supposed to buy a Hilux van. And now, well, since we have captured all the operational expenses, you can put purchase of Hilux van. Or let me say operational van. So let me assume the operational van is sometime here, you put it, let me also operational van is 6 million. So what I would now say, it means that out of 40 million that you are given, you are budgeted, you are planned for 38 point something million. You have 1 point something million naira left. But if, for instance, let me also show us something. Let me just quickly show us something now, so that in an instance, let me use this to represent that. Let me assume I budgeted for purchase of van. Let me say 8 million. Let me look at another one. Let me say there's something I'm trying to achieve now. Let me say 3 million here. Look at this now. It means that I now have a budget of 41,020,000 naira. I have overshot my budget with over 1 million naira. In that particular instance, what do I need to do? I now need to go back to the budget to say, this generator service, can I save money here? Can I be able to renegotiate and get, okay, fumigation, we are doing a team bonding. 2 times in a year, let's do it once a year. You can do it, you remove one. You can now say, oh, I wanted to buy Toyota Hilux. Oh, they told me 8 million. What of Nissan? Is this is not okay? Nissan is okay, and except where is the branding? Maybe that's the one that you're comfortable, but we're just still learning. So let me say for it, oh, I can get Nissan, what's it called? Or this Thunder or something that that is still nice and it can serve you, and the price is 5-6 million. You can now come here instead of 8 million. You do, and that's why I say you must ensure you don't spend more than what you are given. So you go back again and look at it again. Am I saying, oh, good enough? I've been able to cut my costs. I've gone down to 38,700,000. That's how it happens. So you can walk around it as many times as well. If it's not, if it's higher, you can always come back, see where you can reduce. If it's you have excess, what's it called, savings, you can see what you can introduce. You can, but most importantly, it's excellent for you to be able to spend. You spend less than spending all, or even spending more than what you are asked to, what you are approved to, spend in a year to budget for. So that's basically what the last thing I have on my slide. The next one is just like the conclusion, and the conclusion is very simple. It means that I want us to understand that, finance is the life wire of every organization. They don't play around it. Organizations don't play around with money. They don't just let's spend the money. No, they want profit to increase. They want profit to continue to increase. So, and if you're able to make that happen, they will be happy with you. So it is possible. We can work around it. We can also achieve, the level of service delivery and the expectation that whether our clients or the organization have for us. Thank you very much for listening. That's the end of the training this evening. Thank you very much. I appreciate your listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chinedu. Thank you. You returned to lecturer. I did not know that you did mathematics. Thank you so much.
I'm an
And
engineering
thank
student now, so there's no way I wouldn't have done mathematics. Yeah. Oh, so that's that. Thank you.
So the way you are walking around the numbers, thank you. Thank you. I can see people coughing already. Honestly,
Yeah.
this is like an eye opener, especially for the young FMs. I believe they have
Yeah.
questions. So let me allow us to ask questions. But I think what I want to say is, for you to be able to work on your budget, first of all, you must understand the SLE. What are the customers' expectations? What is the scope of the contract, first of all? What are you supposed to cover? What are you not supposed to cover? Some people put things that are not even in their scope in their budget. At the end of the day, they are spending so much.
Yeah.
Then secondly, you must have your asset register. You must understand the assets. Any facility manager here that does not know what asset register means and how comprehensive and detailed an asset register is supposed to be, then I think maybe our next training, Chinedu, will have to talk about it. Then the next one is that you must plan for maintaining those assets. When you have all these things, then you can now draw the budget, because if you are making a request for funds to be released for your maintenance, your PPM, let it be that you captured it in your budget, like Chinedu said. If you are maintaining your ACs every quarter, some ACs are every 2 months. Some generators might not even be up to every quarter. It might be every month. But you can be able to say that if you truly got all the information when you have been doing your asset register, how long have they been using the generator? If it's a brand new generator, 250 hours, no problem. But if it is an old generator, some 150 hours you need to maintain, you need to service. We call it servicing, they say it's maintenance. And as you are doing that, you are equally putting it in your capex, telling them in so time we do overhauling. These are the things. But if you don't understand the assets, you will not be able to plan. That is just it. So I think Chinedu, honestly, you did But another question, I have a question I want to ask you. What range should we put as a buffer? You call it a buffer. Let's say contingency.
Yeah.
Because I have never, throughout my years of practicing facilities management, I have never gotten the budget right. You will plan today, tomorrow something will happen. And when you take it to audit, they will tell you, did you capture it in your cash flow? You will say, they will yank it out. But it happens. Something can break down today. So if they are giving you an operating cost of 50 million, and you know that that 50 million cannot cover, what should you do? Secondly, what range should we put for contingencies? And how do we convince those people that are releasing the money, management for those contingencies? Because sometimes when you make those contingencies allowance, when you go there, they say that you are trying to keep money that you will chop. They say you chop it. That you know what, you are hiding things so that you go and spend it on your own. So it takes a whole lot of accountability. So advise us. What range should we make allowances for contingencies, and how should we be able to defend it to the board or to management? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Obi. So, you know, the reality is that, like I said, even the management too, they know what, like I said before, because their eyes on the profits. So in most cases, you might not even have the surplus. It might be you that is now struggling to even meet up with, you know, the things that you have on the scope. Talk more of, you know, having surplus to be able to say I have, you know, extra. So, and that's why as a facility manager too, you need to also be, you know, creative. You need to also innovate. You need to be able to also, you know, think outside the box. If, for instance, I have two technicians that are doing the same thing, or I have in fact, I resumed in a particular site some time ago, and a painter is there collecting salary. I said, no, we don't need this painter. Please let the painter go. When we need painting work, we'll call you, we'll pay you. So what are you paying painter for? For a building that, you know, if you paint now, the next time you're going to paint is another 6 or 5 or maybe once in a year. Is that why you are not paying painter every month? So in some instance like that, so it's not left for you to now be innovative. Oh, this is actually a waste in my budget. This is actually a waste, and I need to curtail. So you take those things that looks like a waste. That's the only way you can save money. But management would have known, like I said before, that last year, the normal cost for doing this is 90 million. This year, they won't give you 90 million, they will give you 50 million. Because they want you to. So, but normally by standard, they said 10% is ideal percentage for, what's it called, contingency. But in most cases, like miscellaneous, some people say is fraudulent term, or is fraudulent, let's say term, let me like that. What happens is that if you say it's miscellaneous, or name them, list them, they prefer you list those things than to say miscellaneous. Like you said, they will think you just want to, you know, provide money there for you to not see how to spend that. So in most cases, if you have maximum 10%, another thing you can also do intelligently is that if you're negotiating your generator servicing, generator maintenance, and you get an invoice for 100,000, of course, you know that when it comes to the proper, you know, approval, when it comes to that generator work being done, that 100,000, you can negotiate it down to 95,000. You can negotiate it down to 90,000. So they give you invoice 100,000, budget 100,000, budget with 100,000. But at least you know that when you are implementing, you can be able to do that negotiation and cut it down to 90,000. In that particular instance, even without anybody knowing, you're already making 10,000 surplus that's already captured with, even without having that miscellaneous. So that can also help. So I hope I've answered that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I saw someone's hand up. The person has dropped. Okay. Let's have questions, please.
Okay. There's something that while we're trying to see others that raise your hand, Let me read what it says. It says if you present a budget of say 40 million and the management releases 30 million, if you have gotten vendors prices and you bargained or you have bargained already and got last prices, what do you do? What can FM do to prevent service disruption? Because if you don't deliver quality service while trying to manage while trying to manage funds, they will say you don't know what you're doing. Of course, that's correct, and I've said that before. Don't ever expect you will get what you're asking for. It doesn't. If it's in 20 instances, it can only happen once or twice. So it doesn't happen in most instances. So the bottom line, what you will do is, let me tell you, there is power in negotiation. You can always go back. That is the reality. You can always go back to that generator office and say, sir, I thought management will give me 200,000 for this thing. Now they have given me 180,000 naira. Can you be able to do it like that, or should I go and call another person? And then, I'll think about it. The person will call you and say, no problem, I will accept it like that. Or what you now do is you benchmark, and that's what happens during the course of negotiation. Negotiations when it comes to maybe whatever outsourcing you want to do. Call 2 or 3 vendors. That's why from internal audit and all this is a part of financial policy. They will say you should get minimum of 3 quotes. Get those minimum of 3 quotes and see what happens. In some instances, the person that has been your vendor for over years and say, I'm giving you this price because of you, you'll be surprised that what he has been doing 20 million, somebody will be offering it 15 million. And I say, sir, you say, no, the person is using fake material. No, that's okay, no problem. The management can no longer give me 20 million, they give me 15 million, and I want to prevent the person. You see that person will say, don't worry, we will do it 15 million. You get. So powers of negotiation. So exercise that power of negotiation. Go back to those vendors and say that amount I agreed to do before. It's not working. They have cut down my budget, and I need to possibly leave them. Go to the market, get 1 or 2. You will surprise yourself for the amount that you will surprise that by the time you have done all those things, even the 30 million you will get changes. I'm telling you from experience, and that is the reality. So I hope I've answered that. Any other question? I know that we have already tried this effort already.
Okay, I think there should equally be. Can you hear me? I think there should equally be a time. There should equally be a time when you should also go back to the management to tell them, justify why they should make your budget to come up to that 40. Like the person asked the question. If you have you've gone to do your negotiations with all the service providers, and you are seeing that, okay, they don't want to give you the 40, but you can get from all you have done the 35 million. Go back to management. Management, they won't give you all the money because they know that there are some things that you can actually get. So go back to them and justify why they should increase your budget so that you don't have service disruption. Document it. So that in future, if they say, no, we are not giving you that 5 million extra, no, go and work. And you start working and you can't, it's not working out. Let me just put it like that. You go back and tell them, I told you people to increase it to so, and you did not. It's not be as if management, I notice management people, you people are always very stingy management. You don't like bringing out money for facility managers to work. Okay, so do we have another question?
Yeah, so I'll just quickly want to add to that. Yes, that's after you have done everything that you need to do, and genuinely, let me tell you, it's going to be a slap on your face. It's going to be a slap on your face if you say that this is 30 million, they are saying 40 million naira last. And don't also forget that your MDs, your senior management, and all those things, they have contacts. They have few other colleagues that are into that business too. That by the time they make contacts, call somebody, and now somebody say, it's not even 30 million. You will get the 28 million. Are you sure? If they get that 28 million or less than that 30 million, it means that you have put a question mark on your head. Now, but if genuinely you have done all the research, you have benchmarked, and you can't get it at that time, what is the big deal? You go to them now. But you must ensure that you have done due diligence. So even if somebody says, yeah, you are doing 30 million, they might get it 31 million. The difference is still not much. Fine. They might still get it, but let it not ensure it does not happen where you say it cannot happen at 30 million, only for them to now use their own, connections and whatever, and they're not getting 28 million. It means that you are not adding value. It means that you are not interested in the organization. It means that you don't care about the profit of the organization. You don't have the organization at heart. It means that you're a selfish person, and people will begin to look at you. So do your justifications, do your benchmarking, and if truly you can't get, go back to them and make your case. Yeah. Thank you. So maybe one or two more questions and we'll wrap it up. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Adeyinka, you can ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Chinedu. The network has been bad here. I don't know why, but I managed to reconnect back. I thank you for your wealth of experience. I know this is a practical approach. That's very interesting. Yeah, my question is simple. In budget, from my training, we are told that we have 3 methods of budgeting. That's a historical, activity-based, and zero budgeting. Now, as a new FM in a new company, and they ask you to prepare a budget, what should be your basis? Because you are a new FM, and the company also that you are involved is new company, no historical background reference is budget. How should such person come on with his budget? That's my question, sir.
Okay, thank you. So that's very simple. There is something that is expected of every facility manager when you resume in any project, and that has to do with facility audit, or you call it facility inspection or audit, whatever one. Now, what happens is that in fact, the first 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month you resume in a project, what happens? You don't produce budgets in a hurry. You don't just wake up and no. There must be some references in terms of whether based on what you have been able to see, based on historical maybe evidences. It must also be based on maybe your experience in the past, whatever the case is. But how best to approach it is that the first 1 month, do your facility audit assessment. What you do is that go around, check the ACs, their states, check the fumigation. Do we have any infestation? Do we have any descent? Are we good? Even if I say I'm not going to do fumigation this month, am I okay? I had a project that we took up recently, and within the first 1 month they were already complaining. In fact, the admin person, the person coordinating the FM in that organization, told me that they were embarrassed last week. They had board meeting, that Rat attended the meeting with them, because in the middle of board meeting like this, they saw Rat. They were like, somebody said, see your colleagues, see your colleagues. He said he was embarrassed. So it means that at that particular instance, it is a priority that you must do what you must. So you can't say that fumigation should wait for 2nd month or 3rd month. It means that 1st month for that fumigation must happen. Now, another also based on those, familiarization, facility assessment, you're able to know the things that are critical. And one of other things that can also help you, you must be able to know. I don't know who mentioned that, but there are, maybe because of that or not here, but for every facility you're managing, look at those assets that are critical to their to their performance, critical to their business, that they cannot play around with. There are some places that if AC goes off now, more than 85% of staff will carry their bag and leave. There are places that I've also worked in a facility before that availability of light is 99%. They say the 1% is because NEPA can bring light to, and they will know that you want to go and change from maybe public to generator, from generator to public. That's why they leave 1%. So generator is critical. So get those informations. Those informations will be able to guide you to prepare your budget. Don't just start doing budget from nowhere. It might not be correct, yeah, and that's why I say if it's flexible. If it's flexible means that along the line some things might change. You might begin to understand the realities. Yeah, you can quickly adjust if there are some provisions for you to, or there are allowances here and there for you to be able to. So what I'm trying to say is that as somebody that is new, it's very, very important. Get history. Possibly, there is no way in this current, technological age. Even if it's all, you should be able to get the name of the facility manager that was there before. Maybe get to LinkedIn, get to Facebook, or get to this. If nobody's giving you, connect to him and begin to ask questions. If that is not available, you are the first FM there. Look at the conditions and then come with your experience that you have had in the time past. The first 1 or 2 months or even the year budget might not be perfect because you are just starting, because it's a new project, because you are new. It might not be perfect. But after 1 year, you would have learned from your experience, and your second budget will be superb, because you would have known that, oh, this was wrong last year because we didn't plan for this. This was wrong because we didn't plan for this. And this year, we must do this. So that's what I would advise you to do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
That's okay.
All right. Thank you. Okay, one more question, then we'll wrap up.
Ola.
Okay.
Ola is raising his hand. Ola, you can go ahead with your question.
Okay. Where is this Messi that's asking for slides? The slide didn't say much. Okay, but one thing I'm going to work on, God helping us, good enough, we'll have a YouTube channel. This, by God's willing, will also go into the YouTube channel in a couple of days from now, by God's grace, and the link will be shared so that so there will not be need for slides, but the what's it called, the link for the YouTube will be shared eventually, so that we can have our time and listen to it and go through it and also use it to practice on our own. Thank you. I think that answers that question of the slides. Thank you. So now everybody was raising hand. Are we done for today? All right.
If there are no more questions. Okay, yeah, you can speak up. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening. Thank you for the wonderful.
Who is speaking? Can we know your name? Right? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. But I would like to, based on my own experience, add 1 or 2 things. I believe that to actually, in addition to what you said, to actually prepare a robust and a good budget, there's need for the FM person to first of all prepare other essential documents like the asset register, facility assessment. Also, prepare the maintenance, prepare the safety document, because these are the documents that the facility manager can actually extract vital information, and this will allow you not to omit essential components, so that at the end of the day there will not be mix up. So I believe that preparation of all these documents before preparation of the budget itself will go a long way to guide and actually put the FM on point and on track to avoid errors or mistake. Then number 2, sir, based on what you said, there are scenarios where an FM will not be allocated a particular amount. For instance, you said 40 million. In some cases, they will just ask you, go and prepare your budget. and submit it. Then when the FM prepare the budget and submit it, they will now start deliberation on it. Then the FM will now need to defend before they will not think of approving it if it is justified or not. So there's probability of actually adding to it or reducing it, but most cases they can actually adjust it, reduce it, or leave it like that. Then based on what Mr. Adenika said, I believe that naturally, if there is no historical evidence for an FM to actually work with when it comes to preparation of a budget, especially on a new site and where there is no activity, I think the best approach should be to use a kind of zero budget and activity-based method, meaning that the person can actually, based on what you said, the person can actually look at what are the things that are on ground, what are their present conditions, what are the things we're going to need. These are just activity-based. And zero, meaning that the person is starting from the scratch, just as you said. And come the next year, just as you said, the person can have a kind of historical references where the person can pick it from, and more easier. So thank you. This is my submission. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Perfect. Mr. Laruaju, thank you. Thank you for that contribution. Thank you. So that's a good addition. Thank you. So, Obi, you have another question so that we can wrap up?
Okay. Ainde Isiaka, I think he unmuted himself or he wanted to say something. Isiaka, do you want to say something?
No, I'm not saying anything.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And I like, anytime before we close our program, I like getting a remark from Chipo. So before we close, let's hear from her.
Thank you, Obi. Thank you, Mr. Chinedu. I'm grateful for today's presentation, and I'm in agreement with all the contributions that we received from the other participants. I'm very happy that you especially tackled the issue of contingency budgeting, because a lot of times FM comes with unexpected events and they demand sometimes a lot of money. So that is very critical. So I'm really grateful for the presentation, and I do hope that all of us here learned a lot today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think that is thank you from my own end. So Mr. Chinedu, thank you so much for the presentation. And anytime you put it, you log into the YouTube channel, please let's have the link so that others can go. We can equally tell people to go there and watch as well. Yeah, thank you, Chipo. And thank you, Emeka. Emeka, my colleague, I did not hear you. I was expecting you to say something, Mr. Emeka. Thank you, Ainde. Thank you, Olokoba. Thank you, Obafemi. Thank you, Engineer Emmanuel. Thank you, Didion. Thank you, Mercy. Hi, Mercy. Thank you, Timothy. Thank you, Temilade. I think I've called you. Sorry if I did not pronounce your name well. Sorry. And thank you, Obina. Hi, Obina. Thank you, Rewan. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And another session, Chinedu is going to tell us when he's going to come up. He will tell us on the platform and then the topic we are going to be treating. Chinedu, very soon we'll start our old school. Like, in fact, it's university, FM University.
Okay, so let me just quickly say that I wanted to mention it. I'm actually, like I told us in the platform the other time, I'm actually speaking to a friend, very good one. The guy is exposed. I won't tell us the profile now. I'm going to share the profile any moment from now, but it's going to be speaking to us on leadership in relation to facility management. It's going to be, I don't want to tell you anything, but I know who I'm bringing. So I want us to look forward to it. By next week, I should be able to get his profile, and I agree because His own is that today I'm in Owerri, today I'm this one. Let me look at my calendar very well. But by God's grace, I'm going to bring him in. So this month, and it's going to be a wonderful time. I can assure you that. So now let's be on the lookout for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So we are all anticipating. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chinedu. Thank you so much, Obi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raymond. Bye.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Come on, Mr. Chinedu. Well done. Obi, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Bye.